everyone, this is Shel C from Paper Octio Studio, sharing with you today another in the series of Index Card a Day Challenge index cards. These are for days 10, 11, and 12. So for day 10, I started out with some Neocolor 2 crayons. I wanted to make like a foliage look, like the leaves are there and there's some sun shining on them and some lights coming through. That's what I was trying to create. So I put down 3 different colors of green. They're kind of some olivey greens, and a dark medium and a light. And then I'm using a baby white and dipping in white gesso to blend. And I'm just blending them out into like smoother color. I just scribbled it on. I wasn't precise. I mean, I knew where I wanted the colors, but I didn't like draw anything specifically. Oh, I'm going to draw this. And then I just go back in with the dark one again and kind of start to define some leaf shapes and blending again, and then going back in with more color in a minute. That's the lighter color. Neocolor 2s, if you haven't played with them before, are a highly reactive to water crayon form of kind of a watercolor. They're waxy, but they blend with water really, really well, and they're highly pigmented. Probably one of my very favorite things of all time as far as art supplies. I really like them. I started out with my love of watercolor crayons when Stampin' Up! Came out with them years and years and years ago when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I really loved them then, and the Neocolor 2s are so much better than those that Stampin' Up! Has. I still have those, but I don't even use them because these are so much better. The next thing I did was to take a pencil, and I'm going to draw some tubular flowers in very bright colors. And I'm going to color those with my Posca pens. Posca pens are a pen with acrylic paint in them, and they write over pretty much anything. And they're also quite opaque. So I knew that I would be able to just go right over the top of my foliage with these pens and just color in my very bright tropical type flowers that are tube shaped, because I'm going to be putting a hummingbird on there, and hummingbirds like those kinds of flowers that have the long places where they can put their long little beaks in to get nectar. So that's what I was drawing. I don't know if they're accurate. Does it matter? It's just art. Artistic license. That means that you can change the look of something and nobody can sue you for it. So I'm using oranges, pinks, and yellows to do my flowers. And then I'm going back in with a light green Posca and just adding some more detail, like the veins and things to the flowers. I mean, not the flowers, the leaves, to just make them look a little bit more like leaves. It's very scribbly, scratchy. You know, these things are tiny. These little cards are tiny and quick. I'm not spending a ton of time on these things. I'm just going where it takes me and just having fun. So that's what's great about these index cards. You can just do one quickly in the morning or something, and then you're done, and it's something, a little art that you did that day. You feel good about yourself, and it's pretty, and I really like them. They're not too big, not too small, just right. So now I've got my Inktense pencils, and I'm just they're water reactive, but once the water is dry, they become ink and they're permanent. So I've put 3 colors on there. This is a ruby-throated hummingbird, because I made him a ruby-throated hummingbird because I put ruby on his throat. But yeah, once Inktense is dry, it's permanent, so you can go ahead and put your glues or next layers over the top of it. So that's the reason that I used that to color my little bird, because I knew it was going to get gluey stuff all over it, and I didn't want it to smear. This bird is cut out from a cardstock sheet that came from Canvas Corp brands. I'm on their design team, and this pack had a lot of, I think it's called In the Garden or something like that, or gardening. Had a lot of things, you know, gardening cans and shovels and all kinds of things in the garden. And then it had a whole sheet that had different birds and butterflies and dragonflies and all kinds of stuff all over it. And this is cut out from that. And I cut it out the other day when I was going to use it on a different project, but then it was just there on my desk, so I decided to use it for this. So I went around the outside edge with some watering can colored archival ink, and then I used some glitter glue and put it on the feathers and the wings of the little guy because they're very shimmery. Hummingbirds are very shimmery. They look like they have glitter on them. So I did that. Kind of hard to see because this is the video, and that's just the way videos and pictures are. It's kind of hard to see the sparkle, but it's very sparkly. So here's your close-up of that one. Can't even see the sparkle in the close-up really, maybe a little bit. So the next day, which is day 11, I decided that I wanted to do a whimsical girl with flowers in her hair because I just felt like a whimsical girl with flowers in her hair type of day. Sometimes it's those kind of days. So I took some white gesso and then portrait pink acrylic paint, painted my card with that so that it's all pinky and blushy colored. And then I'm drawing my girl in 2B graphite lead, which is what I prefer. It's a softer graphite. It is blendable if you wanted to blend it with a tortillon, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just drawing. I'm just doing like an illustration type of a drawing. And then I'm going to ink it afterwards. So starting out with the face, and I'm making her young looking. She's got, fatter cheeks and a pursed little mouth. Very youthful looking. And then she's got curly, curly hair that's wavy down to her shoulders. And some type of a smock top on, nothing fancy. Then I decided to put a little headband in her hair because I want some flowers in her hair, and I'm thinking to myself, how do they stay? Are they just stuck in her hair, or shall I put something to hold them? So I decided to put a headband on her with flowers on the sides that are held onto the headband. Something you'd see in the summer, maybe out dancing in the sunshine in the grass, in bare feet with some type of a gauzy little smocky dress on, just spinning and spinning in the sunshine. That's kind of what I was thinking about when I was drawing her. Now I have my Faber-Castell pit pins, and these are what I use for inking illustrations. They are water resistant, or whatever you want to say. They don't run with water once they're dry. So that means I can color this with any type of a watercolor medium, and it won't smear the black, which would be very sad if it did. So these are my preferred pins. May they never run out. They will eventually. Then I put some hearts around the background just for fun to fill it in. And now I've got my Neocolor 2s again. And this pack is the one that I use for skin tones. These are the ones that I use, all the ones I use for skin tones. I bought them individually at one point from Blick. You can buy them like at one at a time. And so these are the colors I picked for skin tones. And I can do any skin tone, white, Latino, Asian, African American, whatever, with those colors right there. And I did put some white acrylic paint on my palette, and I've got my water barrel brush, and I dipped my water barrel brush into the white paint and use it to blend. I think that it helps the Neocolor tube to become more permanent when it's dry, not so water reactive if I use enough paint. And then also it lightens it, and it also seems to make it more smooth. Like the acrylic paint has some sort of plastic polymers in it. I don't know. It just makes it blend more smoothly when I'm doing this type of a thing. So that's why I do it. Just because I can. So then I've got my second color of skin tony colors, and I'm putting those in the shaded parts of her face and blending that out. I kind of have to do parts, I have to do the shading on the face, the layers on the face, then do something else, and then come back and then do something else, back and forth, to let things dry in between. And I wanted her to have um, some type of an interesting color hair, not just blonde or brown or black or whatever, something boring. I wanted her to have colored hair. So I started out with a light blue. I'm not that much of a fan of blue. Don't anybody shoot me, but it's not one of my favorite colors. I don't know. Some people really are into blue, but not me. I like purple. As you can see, because the second color I decided to put on her hair was purple. I do like purple. So I'm just going in, adding colors here and there, blending, blending, blending. This does go over my black lines and fade them out a little bit. And sometimes I leave it. Sometimes I just can't stand it and I have to go and re-ink the whole thing again. So we'll see at the end of this which reaction I had to this one. You know, it's kind of a pain. You draw it, then you ink it, then you color it, then you ink it again. It's like too many steps. But that's just the way it is. So I'm adding a third color to her skin, and then also doing just some plain white on her, basically her T-zone, across the top of her forehead, down her nose, down to her chin, because those are the places that your face sticks out. If you're to feel your face, that's what happens. And then, you know, the sides and back are receded, and that's where you put the darker colors. Then I came in with some real pinky cheeks, because she's a young girl and she's got rosy cheeks. So I put those on, blended them. And now I've got a darker color of blue, and I'm going in and adding some shadows to her hair. So I've really been enjoying this Index Card a Day challenge. It is a challenge that goes from June 1st to July 31st, put out by or managed by Daisy Yellow Art. And a lot of people are having fun on the Facebook group. I will put the links to Daisy Yellow Art's page about this challenge, and then also to the Facebook group in case you would like to join in. It's not too late. You just start when you start and you end when you end. There isn't any, you know, nobody's going to come and get you if you didn't start on the 1st of June. You can still do it now. It's great. It's just little bits of art every day, and it's good for you. It's good for your soul. It's good for the world to have more beautiful things in it. So I encourage everyone to play along if you want to. It's also inexpensive because it's just little index cards. In fact, I didn't even have to buy these. I already had them. So I put some green on the leaves of the flower that's down by her neck, and then across the headband, and then I put some light blue and some light pink for her little gauzy dress colors. And now I'm just deepening some of the pinks by taking my water barrel brush and doing it, the tips of it, directly onto the Neocolor 2 to pick up the color that way, and then adding it rather than putting it directly on. It's not very precise when you put it directly on, especially because the tips of my crayons are worn down from using them so much. So now I've got my pen back out again, and I'm inking again. I thought I was just gonna do her face. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit of, you know, definition back to her face, and then I'm just gonna go on and use some Poscas to pump up some of the colors a little bit, and then I'll be done. Do you think that's what happened? Ha ha ha! I'm too much of a fussier person. I fuss and fuss and fuss and fuss. So of course I went back and I inked all of it over again. So this card took me a little bit longer since it was a drawing plus layers of color plus re-inking again. So yeah, it probably took me about an hour, which is really, I mean, there's no rule about how long. It's, you know, it's not like, oh, you can only spend 15 minutes. You can spend as long as you want. If you want to paint the Mona Lisa, then paint the Mona Lisa really tiny on an index card. That's up to you. But I'm trying to keep them light and cute and fun and short. But this day, I wanted to draw a whimsical girl, and that's how long it took. So she's about done, and there you have it. Here comes the close-up of her. The colors are kind of off. I don't know. but you get the idea. Then for day 12, I decided to do collage again. I love collage. I would marry collage. I just love it. I love sticking gluey papers to things and covering up things with pretty papers. These are my color boxes, and this is the brown, which was on my floor because I used it for something else, and the orange. And I'm making little terracotta pots. Just cutting them out using different pieces with my little snippy scissors. I didn't realize that I go off frame so often doing this. It's because I'm bringing up, I'm like bringing it closer to my face so that I can see, and then that brings it off the screen. So I need to be more cognitive of keeping into frame. I'm sorry about that. I don't even realize. I'm just in the zone. I'm not paying attention at all. I'm just, oh, let's make some terracotta pots. Yeah. That'll be fun. Then I decided to make a couple little saucers for a couple of them just to add a little bit of extra something. You can see this is jelly plates, painted papers, roll-off papers, clean-up papers. I just sort them into color and keep them in plastic boxes for collage because I love to collage. Now for the background, I needed a ground because you can't have things floating. That's just not right. It's just not right. Although someone did point out that if you were making an astronaut in space, that they could indeed float. Although, now that I think about that, you probably need a tether, or else you're going to float away. Yeah. So you'd float with a tether. So I guess the tether would be your ground. But in most cases, I really like to have something on the ground for things to set on because it bothers me otherwise. So I'm just using acrylic paint and smooshing it on there with my finger. Did some medium brown and then some blue and then some white and then some Titan Buff. Call it good. It's a good enough scene for my little pots. Then I went around the edges with the archival ink in watering can because that is what was on my desk from the last one. Maybe from both last ones. I'm not sure. It was sitting on my desk. Then I've got to put some plants in my pots, and of course they're going to be cactuses because I live in Arizona, and what do I have? I have terracotta pots with cactuses in them because it's hot here. It's hot. And it has gotten up to temperature now. It's very, summery here, and our monsoons have started. We've had some really awesome rainstorms. Monsoons in southern Arizona. So you're just going along. Everything's great. It's blue sky, it's sunny, and then bam, you get hit with like an amazing amount of water. Just pour. It's like somebody poured a bucket on your head. And then 5 minutes later, it's done. It's gone. It's extremely fun. It's something I really enjoy, although the humidity goes up, and I'm not really that fond of humidity. But always it's fun to just have surprise thunderstorms. They're loud and they're wet and exciting, and you just want to dance in it. It's really pretty cool. So this is the beginning of our season for that, and there have been a couple. Soccer was rained out yesterday because of a monsoon. All right, so now I had my pots in a really cute formation, and then at some point as I was gluing them on, I messed it up, so they're not quite as balanced as they were when I originally put them on there. Not sure what I did. Really, I should take a picture and then I would know where to put things back, except for I film with my phone, which is what I take pictures with. So I have a little trouble taking pictures. So that's why I don't do it. But it would be really smart to do that so that I would know that my cute formation, what it looked like originally. You know what I mean? But it's still cute. It's just not exactly how I wanted it originally. So I've got my different colors of green papers, jelly prints, whatever they were. Got my cactuses cut out, and now I've got my black fine tip Posca pen. Going to go around all the edges of all the pots and all the cactuses and draw in details. Remember when you're using your Posca pen to make sure that the glue or the paint or whatever is there is dry first, you will be buying a new pen if you don't. Because it gets onto the tip and clogs it up and it won't write anymore. And it's very, very sad. And you have to have a little funeral in the backyard for your Posca pen. Very sad. So don't do it. Don't kill your Posca pens, people. Don't be Posca murderers. So I'm drawing in details on each little cactus, what makes them unique. People think of cactus, if you don't live here, you think cactus, you think of a saguaro, which is that one that looks kind of like a trident. It's got, the long thing in the middle, and then it's got a couple little arms sticking out, standing there. That's not the only cactus. We have thousands. We have thousands of colors and shapes and sizes, and these are some of the representations of some of them. Got your prickly pear, you got your barrel cactus, you got your organ pipe cactus there, you've got your totem cactus. You see what I'm getting at? There's tons. So I finished doing my lines, and then I colored in the top of the one pink and the other one yellow, because those are little flowers that they have in the spring. And now I'm going in with my white fine tip Posca pen to do the highlights, because you do. And then I decide I need to put something on there, so I get some words from, I think it's called Tiny Talk from Tim Holtz. And when I found those words, I kind of thought they were funny. Then just a little bit of Stabilo at the end to add a little bit of a shadow around that and around the bottom of the pots. Blend it with a water barrel brush. And Bob's your uncle, you've got it. It's done. Here's your close-ups, and that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.